I am feeling so overwhelmed by a huge to-do list that I just feel frozen. Like I don't know where to start and I'll never get on top of things. Can anyone relate? Please say so in the comments if you are in this boat or if you have been. Well, thankfully, I discovered 3 secrets that actually help me to get out of this state, accomplish my goals, and feel peaceful again. Let's dive in. If you don't mind, I'm going to clean up my studio while we talk. It's not the messiest it has been by far, but I came back from a craft fair a few weeks ago and I still haven't put away the boxes. So while it's not a complete disaster, it is really not very feasible to work in and it's not a pleasant environment. That leads me to my first point, how to get out of overwhelm. Environment affects overwhelm more than a long to-do list. I'm going to say that again in a different way. A long to-do list is less overwhelm-inducing than a messy, cluttered environment. This I found to be true for me. Maybe it's not true for you. It's probably not true for everyone. But it's definitely true for me, so I'm sharing it with you in case you're the same way. And I discovered this when we were going to have people over for dinner in about an hour and a half. I still had so many things that I felt like I needed to get done that day, but I had to put those things aside and clean up the house because it was a complete and utter disaster. And so as I shepherded kids around, having them do different jobs, and I cleared counters, cleared floors, as the house just got to be into like a clutter-free, beautiful, clean state, I realized that my mental state was just getting calmer and calmer. I could think clearer and I was enjoying my day. Just looking around, being in my nice, neat house. Suddenly my to-do list kind of melted away and wasn't bothering me anymore. And I was just honestly enjoying the peaceful environment and looking forward to the people that were coming over. I have applied this to my art business as well, and I call it doing a soft start. When I feel overwhelmed by a lot of commissions, a lot of website work, a lot of YouTube stuff, a lot of unfinished art projects, and I almost am just frozen, like I can't even start, I begin by just putting in some music and clearing up my studio space. This soft start has been really powerful for me because it's not scary. It's not scary to go and tidy up, whereas it is scary to, get that canvas out that you've been putting off or start that commission or try to finish that piece that that's not going the way you want it to. So I start by just clearing up my space, and if it's already pretty tidy, then I just start by prepping the artwork. I tell myself I don't have to work on it, I'm just going to set it up, and then usually it leads into me beginning on it, or at least it's set up there for the next time that I'm able to get into the studio and paint. Overwhelm is a mental state, and it's a real thing for moms. I'm sure it's real for everyone, but I'm a mom, so I can relate to all you moms out there, and I think it's safe to say maybe moms suffer from it more than a lot of people. So I know I have 6 kids. I stay home with them. They're ages 10 and under. I homeschool them. And there is constant noise, constant mess, constant activities, chores, things to do, stuff to clean. Everything gets undone that you do. There's always meals to make. It is just a non-stop. And a lot of times, the house is just a disaster too, with 6 little kids. There's twins in there, by the way, that are just, being children, just undoing everything. And what I have been telling myself is that I don't have to exist in that mental state of overwhelm. And one small way that I begin conquering that is just starting with my environment. No, I am not going to get all the things done today that I want to or feel like I should. But when I start by just kind of decluttering, clearing, just a small tidy even of my environment, I discovered that it honestly really helps my mental state. It just helps me to be calmer. And it also helps because I've been able to accomplish a small win, clearing, even one room or one space like my desk. Even clearing one space, it gives me this boost of confidence and courage, oh, I did it. I did one thing. I can do something else. So I call that a soft start, and it really helps to start with my environment. The second awesome secret I have found to overcoming overwhelm is to find a strategy for tackling a to-do list. If I just think of all the things I have to do and try to start doing them, I'm going to fail. I'm not going to do the right things, and I am no way am I going to get them all done. So this is the strategy that I've come up with that works for me, and I'm going to share it in hopes that it will work for you, or maybe you can take pieces from it that will be helpful to you. And I got part of this just from my own experimentation. I got part of it from a girl named Audrey on YouTube. Her channel's Organized Chaos 4. She has some great cleaning and organizing tips. And then I got part of it also from the Eisenhower Matrix. Here we go. So, before I even start trying to tackle a to-do list, if I am going to try to do this the right way, I first don't think about all the things I have to do. I first decide and schedule in something that I enjoy, that I am going to look forward to at the end of the day. This could be as simple as a book that I decide I'm going to read or listen to, or I'm going to have a cup of tea, or go on a walk with my husband, or take a bath. I try to come up with something I enjoy and then put that on my schedule to do at the end of the day. So I have something to look forward to. That way life doesn't just become an unending work with no rest or play in sight. Secondly, I just stop and pray. This is not a morning prayer session where I do at the beginning of each day spend 15 to 30 minutes in quiet time with God. This is just a invocation to God, just calling out for help before I try to tackle the things that I need to work on. And so it's just asking Him for help, that I'll be able to have the wisdom to see what I should focus my limited time and attention on, and the energy and the help to be able to accomplish it. Thirdly, I do a brain dump. This has been super helpful for me. It's basically taking everything that's jumped around in your mind that you think you have to do and just dumping it out on paper, just getting it out, writing it down. This just takes the form of a big list. I just jot everything down on the paper that's swirling around in my mind like spaghetti right now. It doesn't have to be all the things you ever have to do in your whole life, just what's cluttering up your mind today. I just get it on to paper. Now, that is not a to-do list. That's not a good list, but it's great to have it out of your head and onto paper. Better out than in. But now I need to figure out what on that list I'm going to prioritize, because there's no way that I can do all of that today. It's 50 to 100 things on any given day. Next step is to prioritize. By the way, I don't do this every day. I just do it when I'm having a massive overwhelm and I'm just frozen up and a little bit discouraged about never just seeing the end in sight. So now that we have the brain dump list, we're going to prioritize that. And this is where the Eisenhower Matrix comes in. This has been a really helpful way to organize a to-do list for me, to decide what's actually important to do and what can be put off or what can even just be deleted. So it looks like this. There's 4 different squares on it. One square is things that are urgent and important. One square are things that are urgent but not important. One square are things that are important but not urgent. And finally, one square is things that are not important and not urgent. So I'm gonna go through my brain dump and I'm just gonna sort the things into these boxes. For example, one item on my brain dump might be fill out the art fair application. That's not important, but it is urgent. It's coming up, so I stick it in the urgent but not important box. Another thing in there would be like buy some art supplies. Maybe I'm low. Right now I'm low on a few different paint colors and I'm low on gloves. So that is going to go in the not important and not urgent. So I'm not going to do that right now. I don't need to. Maybe another thing would be a commission I'm doing for a friend. She and her husband went through a really tough time with his health, and she wants me to do like a painting of the two of them. This is not on a time frame. They have no deadline or anything for me. It's important because it's for my friend and it's like a really meaningful painting, so it's going to go in the important but not urgent. So I will do that, but it's not going to be today. Another thing might be update my website. A lot of the artworks that I've done, I have it listed on my web shop, and so that's always on my to-do list. Update the website. That's really not important to me, and it's really not urgent either. So right now that's going to go in the delete box. I'm not going to worry about that. Something important and urgent might be like spending time with my kids. So when I say important, I'm not talking about like get an oil change on the car so the car doesn't break down important. I'm talking about important as in important to your life. Like if you were going to die tomorrow, what would you wish you had done? That would be the things that are important to you. So just a distinction on what that word means in this context. After I'm done with this, I know what I should focus on today. And it is the stuff in the box that is both important and urgent. The stuff that's important but not urgent, it can be put off. The stuff that is urgent and not important, this can be delegated. The stuff that's not urgent and is not important, sorry, perfectionist, accomplisher people, including myself, that stuff has to be deleted. Now my whole brain dump page has gone from 50 things to like 4 things that I actually should work on today. So my mental load is like completely less, and this really helps me to get clear on what I want to do and what I should do with my limited time and energy. The last step in this strategy for tackling my to-do list and prioritizing it is to set a timer. So I'm working on that box of the important and urgent things, and I'm going to give myself a time limit to work on these things. And I'm going to give myself shorter than I think I need. And as I'm cleaning my studio here, you notice I keep resetting the timer. I wanted to see how much I could get done in 15 minutes, and it seemed like there was still a lot to do after 15 minutes. And I don't know how many times I reset it, maybe 3 or 4. But isn't that how it goes? Can anyone relate? Like, you think something's going to take a lot shorter, it ends up taking longer. But the timer does help keep me moving quicker than I would if I didn't have it on. So I think it's really helpful. The last secret I want to leave you with is a productivity technique that comes from a quote by Mark Twain. He said, "If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first." I love this quote, and you get the point. If you have something unpleasant to do or annoying that's hanging over your head, it's just best to get it out of the way, because when you put it off and procrastinate it, it kind of clouds everything else, and it also grows in your mind. It gets bigger and bigger and turns into this monster. And then when you end up finally tackling it and, finally doing it, it's usually not as bad as you thought it would be. So, basically the lesson here is just get it over with. There's lots of annoying, unpleasant things that we have to do as artists, as grown-ups in the world. And so, get over them. There was some advice, I don't know who said this, but just do one thing that sucks every day. Because when you keep putting off the things that suck, you just start to, they hang over your head, and then you kind of start to feel defeated if you're avoiding the challenges. Once you conquer that seemingly difficult thing, everything else tends to have an easier look about it after that, and you gain confidence and you just have some more courage to tackle the other things on your list. All of this is really just ways to prioritize your to-do list and to decide what is an important way to spend your time. For me, I think of it as finding God's will for me. What should I be doing with the life that He's given me? And not just what comes up at the moment or what I feel like doing. This is just a way to be intentional about our time, how we spend it, and not to just go through each day treading water in this sea of just being overwhelmed by all life's busyness. I'm feeling so much better in the studio right now, and I'm excited to get in there and paint. Just using one of these tips has made me feel a lot more peaceful in my day, a lot less overwhelmed, and I hope you're able to take something from this video as well that just helps you to have a little bit more calm and smooth day, a little more clarity and in your mental state. If you suffer from overwhelm, get bogged down from time to time, or maybe kind of a constant state of overwhelm, just know you are not alone. I've been there many times. Remember, I'm a mom, I have 6 kids, and life throws a lot of things at you day in and day out. I felt it often, but these secrets I shared in this video have seriously helped me. I still feel overwhelmed from time to time, but I do try to pull out these tools, and sometimes it's just an abbreviated version. Sometimes it's not all of these together. Sometimes I just, pick one of them to help me get through the moment or the day. Oftentimes just the night before, I maybe in my journal, I just bullet 3 main things I want to try to accomplish the next day, and that somehow really helps, just doing that ahead of time before I get thrown into the busyness of the next day. But I hope some of these tips have helped you, and since I shared a lot, I made a PDF which you can get in the description below. It's all these secrets, the process for going from overwhelmed to accomplish and conquering your to-do list. And you can grab that at the link in the description below, so you can remember all of the helpful tips that we talked about here. I hope you have a great day. I hope some of these help you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.